What's up, guys? I'm BTC. The competitive meta in Overwatch has been very stale for the last 4 or 5 seasons. But now with Brigitte in the competitive ladder, there is probably the best change that the game has ever seen. Earlier this week, Season 10 started, and Brigitte was added to the competitive roster. And as I've been playing over this last couple days, I've noticed something really interesting. A couple of you guys have mentioned this in the comments, and also got brought up on my Discord as well. And I felt that I really wanted to talk about this topic because it's really interesting, and I don't know just how many people are actually noticing just how big, how monumental of a shift that we currently have in kind of like the competitive viability of different characters. Before I get into that stuff though, quickly gotta clear something up. I understand there are some issues with Brigitte right now, and that some changes may need to be made. However, I don't care if you like the character or hate the character. That is irrelevant. You need to just put that to the side for right now, because that has nothing to do with the topic that we're actually going to be discussing. So, and that has to do with basically what the meta is and the viability of all the different characters in the game and how much playtime these characters are getting. Because for the last, let's say, 5 seasons, we've essentially had a dive meta, some form of it in one way or another. It's always Tracer, D.Va, Winston, Zenyatta, and then for a while it was Lucio, and then Mercy got her rework, and then she took Lucio's spot, and then you might have one extra DPS, whatever it happens to be. Usually it's like a Genji or a McCree or something like that, right? So that is what we've had for the last 5 seasons. It's the same 7 or 8 characters over and over and over again. There's almost no room for anything else. Reinhardt pretty much dropped off the map. Zarya dropped off the map. A lot of these characters just were not able to compete in the dive meta setting. And now that Brigitte is in the game, now that we have what is essentially a hard counter to some of these high mobility flanking characters like the Tracer and the Genji, now we're seeing a lot more variety in everything else. And it's a really odd situation because it's the reverse of what we had when Mercy was a must pick. In that case, you had Mercy, and then you had the dive comp built around her. The Tracer, the D.Va, the Winston, all that sort of stuff. And it was the same 5, 6, 7 characters over and over and over again, and none of the other characters could really compete. But with Brigitte, even though, let's say for the sake of argument, she is a must-pick for both teams, you don't have to only build certain character comps. Like, you can have an anchor lineup with a Reinhardt and a Zarya and a McCree or something like that. Or you can have the triple tank and triple support. Or even some versions of dive will still function with Brigitte in there because she's able to very quickly put that, 150 heal on the Genji or the Winston or the D.Va who's, kind of diving into the back line or something. There's so much variety in what you can build around the Brigitte that no one seems to really be locked into any one thing. And what we're seeing is a lot of those super high pick rate characters like Tracer and D.Va and Winston, their pick rates are starting to drop, and even Zenyatta as well, because now people are using other characters like Lucio or Moira in favor of that just to get them more healing. And now you're seeing characters like Reinhardt and Zarya and Pharah and Bastion and Doomfist and more Sombra. You're seeing these characters that were almost completely unused for the last 4 or 5 metas, and now their pick rates are going up and the dive comp pick rates are going down. Now, I'm not saying that there's no issues whatsoever with the character. There definitely are, but the point that I'm trying to make is we're actually getting closer to a situation where the meta isn't just the same 6, 7 characters every single time. The irony is that you still have to have one particular character on either team, but you can build your team to almost whatever you want. And it's really, really interesting, the fact that this is probably the closest that the game has ever been to actually having like a fully balanced variety of characters. Granted, it still has a very long way to go, and there's still some issues to deal with, but this is coming closer to what I've always wanted for the game, which is for every single character to actually be viable and not have to limit yourself to just the same 5 or 6 characters over and over again. So what do you guys think? Is it alright for one character to be almost a must pick if it means that the rest of the team can have significantly more variety in the heroes and the team comp that they go with? Let me know down below. Thanks for watching. Make sure to check out my Discord server. Follow me on Twitch and Twitter. The links for that stuff are down below. And remember, always blame the controller, because it's never your fault. Also, special thanks to all my Patreon supporters for helping to make this all possible. If you'd like to see what kind of cool rewards you can get for supporting the channel, check the links on screen and down below.